for a little while.
Yeah, it was big.
If you go to Office Max and buy cartridges for HP printers, it was ridiculous. You could almost give you the printer
Yeah,
for what they were making in the.
The cartridge was like $40.
Yeah, they were super expensive, and then it's still a little bit expensive. But the refills are just filling them up, and the ink is not as good though, is it not?
It's not as good. It's not. It doesn't last as long.
So you got into the. How did you find this business, the ink refilling business?
I just went online and started looking it up. I didn't know anyone, so that was one of my flaws. Is here's a tech guy. I don't have any connections. I don't know anyone. I don't have business friends. So the only thing I had to do was go online and look at businesses, give businesses a start and whatever, and then find out that the cartridge industry was booming at that time. And I'm like, yeah, this might be something you get into. And that's what
was your first step? You bought cartridges? You buy ink? I mean, what was your first step on starting that business?
So I found I was looking to the business model, and then I just started calling people, and it's like, hey, like I'm not a competitor. I don't have a business yet. I'm calling people out of state, and I'm like, I'm interested in getting in this kind of business. What is your thought on it? And then I've done that for a while, and then found out that there was a place that they were somewhat of a franchise. They weren't fully at the franchise level, but they were selling packages.
They were helping people get started.
Yeah. And so we bought into that program, and it was called Ink Solution.
Okay.
And so we bought into that package, and they actually sent us to one of these stores up in Kansas, and we went there for a week to train on how to do cartridge refill. So that was our support system. Came back and then started the business, and we put a lot of money into it as far as marketing goes. All the ads, your restaurants where their menus, you'll see those little business card size advertisement. Back then it was newspaper, Gaston Gazette, Chamber. We did all that on day one. You know how many customers show up on day one? None. So I put all this money.
The ribbon cutting.
Right.
Nope, nobody's here.
And the funny thing too was I was reading a lot of books back then, and they say in order to grow your business, you got to have system and people in place, and you shouldn't be doing all the work. So I didn't know any better. So on day one, I hired a manager to run my business. I was paying her like I think $600 a week
with no business. So did she go hit doors? Did she go knock on doors?
No, she I didn't know how to manage people back then either.
Oh wow.
And she just stayed there. And then my wife and I was like, okay, how do we grow this business? Let's just put more money into marketing. So I found out that part of marketing is it actually takes time, right? And they say it takes 7 to 8 times for them to hear about you before they actually would come and use you.
Did you ever get profitable in this business?
Yeah. We were 4 years into it. Is when we shut the business. So if I remember correctly, it's probably 2 years, and we were profitable. So my wife was running that business, and then I was running the electronic business. And there was a lot of fights back then.
Yeah, it was diversification.
Yeah.
And so right now, you still have the electronics repair business. Are the same salespeople still working with you, or do you have?
No, they basically all retired.
They all retired.
Mm-hmm. And the owner actually passed away a couple years ago with COVID. Yeah.
And then you have this all the accounts basically come to you direct now.
Mm-mm.
No.
What happened there was I needed to figure out how to get out of it, right? And I didn't know how to get out of it, and I didn't know anyone to help me get out of it. My dad was, he was an entrepreneur, but he didn't have the answers. It's like I tell people, my dad's generation, it was like, son, study hard. Like, all right, Dad, what do you mean by study hard? Mm-hmm. Like, tell me how to study hard. No, you just got to study hard, right? So only advice to give me like, son, work hard. I'm like, okay. So what I did was I hired a business coach, and I worked with him for about 7 months, and we figured out how to go out and acquire new customers without letting my customer know that we went out and going behind them to grow the business. But before that, what happened was they found out that I opened up the cartridge store, and they were mad at me because there's like Well, Lou's not focused on us anymore.
Mm.
He's focused on, this other business, and so they took the business away from me.
They took it and take it to somewhere else.
Yeah, they hired an ex-employee of mine and started their own repair business.
What the hell?
Yeah, but I was lucky then. I had hi, I didn't hire, but I acquired a customer that I was doing about 5,000 a week on, and that's what kept me in business. So I didn't know that they were mad at me. Like I could see week after week, it was like nothing was coming in, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? They say, oh yeah, our customers are slow, and that's all they told me. But then kind of found out that they hired a guy that I had let go, and use him to
They
build
did
it.
the same thing.
Yeah.
They did the same story. You did it, leapfrogged it again.
Yep. But so my biggest customer then got bought out by their biggest customer, and so I couldn't get on the vendors list.
Mm.
And then I was doing some repairs for that customer that I was, the most successful at. And so when they took over that account, my customers there was like, Lou's the only person that could do repairs on these. And so they tried to do repairs on it, and they couldn't do it. So then they came back to me. Well, the guy that used to work for me, he hated my guts, and he's like, I refuse to work with Lou. And then they was like, okay, either work with Lou or
You're gone.
Yeah, you're gone.
So he finally dropped.
So he's gone. Yeah. So
And then you end up getting all of it back.
I got all the business back. Yeah.
What a story, Garrett. What do you, I mean?
It's amazing what patience and trying to do the right thing can do. So long as you stay your course, it all comes back.
Just be you, be patient, be loyal, be yourself, and doing a good quality product. And you ran an ethical, above board business and did right by your customer.
Mm-hmm.
But all you're trying to do is grow, and these people were limiting your growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so right now, you have all this business, and you've diversified. Do you have any other businesses now, or is this all you still have?
No, I have a business called Hidden Leaf Investment where I do business consulting as well.
And what does that look like? So if someone calls you and they want business consulting, what is your first line of defense for them? Like when they call you, go, okay, let's do. What do you do?
I normally do like a overview of their business and find out what their biggest pain point is. Most of the time is really strategies and marketing is what I see.
You think it really is marketing?
Well, with no leads coming in, I mean, there's no business.
And what type of businesses are you consulting?
I'm more service, but I'm very picky because the reason why is I'm a results guy, and there's a lot of people out there that they say they want something, but they don't want to put the work in.
Sounds like my world now.
Yeah, and so
Garrett, are we results oriented?
Oh, very much so.
I don't.
I don't think that you let me get by a day without asking what's been happening. What are our results been?
Results.
What are the numbers?
Goals.
Yeah.
What's our goal? Where's the goalpost today?
Yeah.
So one of the things I do, and I do similar to you, but not like you. I kind of stay in my little world. I always say, if you want to score a touchdown, you got to get a first down. So every day I'm looking for a new first down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep getting first downs, you'll get in the end zone.
Yeah.
Most people want to see the end zone first.
Yeah.
They want to throw a bomb. They want to come in and, bro, let's throw the Hail Mary and hopefully we hit the end zone.
Yeah.
That's not how you get there.
Yeah.
You get there 10 yards at a time, 10 yards at a time, 10 yards at a time, and there's 100 yards in a field. So it's going to take 10, maybe 30 drives to get to the end zone. And so I break it down in sports. A lot of what I coach in business is I just make a relevance to sports because most people understand sports.
Yeah.
You got a head coach and you got assistant coaches, you've got offensive line, you got defensive line. Most people understand football. So I use a lot of football analogies in business. And I said, a lot of times what I do is I don't really do consulting. I'm just a second set of eyes. Like, when you see the football games in college or football in college or, excuse me, NFL, head coach is right there on the field. He's with the players. And then you see up in the box, there's a coach up there looking at the field from a different viewpoint. And honestly, most business owners know what to do. Mm-hmm. They just need another second set of eyes to see the whole field.
Yeah.
And go, okay, here's what the defense is doing, here's what we're doing, and here's how we can maneuver our chess pieces. And I'm just seeing the game a little differently than you.
Yeah.
And what I do is just put some real strategies together on their personal finances. A lot of times what happens with me is I get really personal in businesses and go, listen, do you really need that boat? Do you really need that new whatever kind of whatever? They bought a business, they got what we call semi-successful. And then they start to want to social media their success.
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah, that you want to broadcast it.
You
Of
wanna-
course, you
wanna beat your chest.
yeah. It's
Okay.
just it's a point of pride.
And then I would read on Instagram where you see Bill Gates, right? You know, Microsoft founder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's wearing like $50 shoes, khaki pants. There's not one, maybe a design or something on him, right? But he's wearing his or what would they have, a Google Watch or whatever? Not iPhone. He's wearing his Google Watch. But you see the billionaires and the super wealthy people, they don't put time into look at me. They put time into what we can do to build more processes for more income and open up more business because they're visionaries, right?
Yeah.
So where are you in your business? Are you still in the visionary stage? Are you in the, hey, let's scale back and I want to enjoy life stage? And you got to also understand where your kids are, okay? My kids were 7 to 13. I scaled back. I didn't work but like 2 or 3 days a week. I spent all my time with my kids. I built my business to where it was cash flowing enough to live the lifestyle I wanted to live. And I was not pushing any harder. I was like, I'm good. I'm going to the gym, working out. I'm going to my school lunches with my kids. I'm picking them up from school. I'm taking them here and taking them there. Because I only
Priorities. You reassess priority.
I only have one chance to be a good dad. After my kids are a certain level, I can put the throttle back down.
Yeah.
Because I got them, they're not on drugs, they're not drinking, they're out of school, and they're fundamentally sound. So now dad's full throttle again. Now it's like, now I'm working 7 days a week. Now I'm working 20, hours a day. I only sleep 4 to 6 hours a day. Now I'm working on new businesses. Now I'm growing. Now I'm flying. Now I'm on the next plane. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing that. And I talked to one of my buddies, Charlie Pierce, yesterday, general manager of Town and Country Ford. He called me up, and my Mustang's there. And I talked to him yesterday. We talked about that.
Yep.
And he goes, bro, you are the hardest working fool I know. And I go, why do you say that? He goes, I look, and you are here, you're here, you're here, you're here. He's like, you're like a ping pong.
Yeah, you're always traveling.
I'm always
Yeah.
moving. I'm always moving because I'm always looking for new opportunities. I'm always looking to better myself, and I'm always looking to grow. And the only way to grow is to get out of your little circle that you like. If you live in this little world right here in Charlotte, there's all these other worlds. You got to branch out. And I'm meeting new people here. I'm meeting new people there in other cities, other states.
Well, it gives you a different perspective. So even if you aren't necessarily growing in those other worlds, it helps you grow in yours.
Yes, absolutely. You just got to figure out, like, I'm 51, almost 52 in February. And I'm going to never retire, ever. Like, in my brain, I have programmed my brain, as long as I can use this and talk and coach and motivate people to do something, then I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Physically, my body can't handle what I did for 20 years. I can go in and play it down. I use the analogy. I was a good player. I played the game. I played at the highest level, and I played for years. And now I can go like Tom Brady. He could go out and pass the ball and run and play probably a first quarter, but he's not in shape to play the whole game. Yeah. I'm not in shape to play the whole game. You want to throw me in the game for like a quarter? I'll play a little bit, and I'll show you I can still play. But you want to sit my ass back on the bench. I'm better on the sidelines coaching you now, right?
Yeah.
And so I love that. So your consulting business is something I think you're passionate about. I saw it in your eyes. I saw it the way you talk, and I saw it at the dinner meeting. You are gravitating towards really wanting to help yourself. I see it. What you started out when you started your business, and you didn't have a coach and you didn't have a mentor other than your father, but you're now wanting to go back and actually help people like yourself. That's what I see. Am I correct?
Yeah, I actually lose more money doing that. My wife was like, "Hey, aren't you in there to make money?" And I'm actually giving people money.
Yeah.
And just trying to get them to think outside the box. I had this one person she was struggling, and she needed some money for something. I said, hey, if I said, how much is it going to cost you to get that? She said about $1,000. I said, if you could go out and get 9 people to give you $100 each, I said, I'll do the 100. And she came back and said, I got 9 people. I said, okay,
Here's 100.
here's $100, and then that's enough for her to get started. So my passion, all of that is just business, because I tell people all the time, like when I first started, one thing I wish the most was someone would have came to me, put their arms around me, and said, Lou, this business journey is going to be super difficult. It's going to be the highs and the lows, and I'm here with you, buddy. And I didn't have that. Only thing I had was Barnes and Nobles.
Lou, we're in prison together. I have an ankle bracelet tied to your ankle bracelet, and we're gonna carve our way out one chisel at a time.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I want to help out. But then I also realize that if you give things away for free,
They don't value them.
Yeah, they won't value it. Because like I do a lot of events now, right? And we'll get anywhere from like 120 RSVP, and 60%, 50% of those people will show up. Why? Is because it's free. And they'll RSVP, you get close to it, then something will come up. It's like,
Right.
man, I'm tired. I don't want to go. Oh, I don't want to go through that traffic, and they won't commit to it. And so it has to be something that they invested into.
Right.
And I wish I could give everything away for free, but with a Facebook group now that I meet a lot of people are always asking for this and for that, and I have to protect.
So tell me
time.
about the Facebook group. There was a guy that had this group, and you met him, I guess, through a meetup, like the meetup app, right? The meetup app.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. How did this all take place?
Well, a couple years ago, my family and I we started investing in real estate, and I have 2 brothers that are in law enforcement. One's a lieutenant. One's he's a crime scene investigator. But during that time, I was like, hey, why don't we start a business together? I was like, to start it up so that if I say, hey, let's go to Costa Rica tomorrow, I said, you guys don't have to answer to anyone. You guys have the cash, and let's just go.
Why are we not in Costa Rica right now?
And so we decided to get into real estate. I didn't know anything about real estate, and one of my brothers was already doing it with one of our cousins, and he said, hey, look into it, wholesaling. I was like, what the heck is wholesaling? So we started looking into it, and so we decided let's go that route. Make a long story short, we learned the creative side of it, the creative financing side of it, of how do you acquire a house, how do you negotiate, how do you make deals, and we did it for about 3 years, 4 years. Did really well in it. Like the first year, no experience, we did about 14 deals, and then I got tired of it.
Did you have a real estate license?
No. Mm-mm.
You would just flip someone else's home.
Yeah, we were getting the home under contract.
You were assuming their mortgage, and then you would turn around and flip
Yep.
the home for a profit on an agreed price.
Yep, that's what we call subject to, and then we were wholesaling as well,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were fixing and flipping.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest part of it was the marketing side of it. How do you find these off-market properties, and then how do you negotiate it, and how do you make it a win-win situation?
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end, I know what to do with it, and they didn't know what to do with it. So how do I take something that doesn't look so pleasing to them, and I turn that around and make it pleasing to
We
what
buy
is it?
ugly homes.
Yep. those are mainly wholesalers,
Right.
And so that's how we started. But to me, it gave me a chance to learn how to market, and then how to negotiate, how to figure out how to use other people's money without using my money.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just hate dealing with contractors. I'm a straightforward guy, and I was like, hey, be here by 10.
No.
And I expect you to be there by 10. But then to them, 10 o'clock that morning is 10 o'clock 3 days later. And that didn't fly with me. So I was like, well, I can't change
Managing
anything.
projects is difficult.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a pain in the butt.
It really is. And even when you have a group of guys that you trust and are good, they still always disappoint you, no matter what.
Yeah.
So you got into real estate in this Facebook group. Let's talk about it. How did you get in?
Well, so I was like, okay, I don't like the real estate side of it, but I love the business side of it. So I was like, can I learn how to do the same thing with businesses? And the answer is like, yes, right? You need to find those off-market businesses, and you work your way in to buy it, either through seller financing or something. And then I'm like, okay, how do I get in front of business owners? Then I'm like, meetups, right? Do I attend other people's meetup, or do I, have my own meetups? I'm like, no, I need to have my own meetups. Like that way I can control it. So it's the media side. So where does these business owners hang out at, and what media do they consume, or what place do they go to? So Meetup was one of it. So I started looking through Meetup, looking through groups, and then when you start looking, this one it popped up. It says this group, I forgot what it's called back then, but this group no longer has an organizer. Would you take it over as an organizer? And I'm like, heck yeah, I'll take it over. It was around 800 members back then.
This was the Meetup group.
Meetup group, local here to Charlotte.
Okay.
And I took over it, and it was my group. So I had this imposter syndrome where it was 700, 800 members. And I contacted the co-organizer, who was still a member of that group. Mm-hmm. The organizer had left. Mm-hmm. But I contacted the co-organizer, hey, I just took over this group. This is your guys' group. I don't know any of the members, but I want to keep this group alive. I didn't hear anything, no replies, no nothing back. And I waited a whole year. And then Meetup sends me an invoice saying that, hey, that group you took over, here's the bill for next year. And I was like, okay.
How much was the bill?
Oh, it was only like 100 something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I was like, do I just let it go and not do anything, or do I do something with it? And then that's where I came up with my motto for 2024, where it says 2024 do or die, meaning I had to change my mindset. I said, okay, who cares? It's not my group, but who cares? All right, I didn't build a group. Who cares? These members don't know me, but who cares? Let's just do it. So we organized our first event in January, and so I used that Meetup group to do the first event. And I'm like, hey, I like this. It went well. I liked it. We probably had maybe 60 or so people show up. And then as I was looking through the Meetup groups, I told Rose, I said, hey, go to some of these Meetup groups and message the organizer and see if they want to sell the group. And that's how I acquired the Charlotte Business Owner Group, which is a Meetup group as well. I think it has 4,400 something members in that group. But then that group came with a Facebook group. And that Facebook group at the time when it took over was right at 3,000 members.
And it's at 18,000, almost 19,000.
Almost 19,000.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah. So we
in a year you've grown it.
Less than a year. Yeah.
You makes that very clear.
Yeah, I mean it's less than a year.
Less than a damn year, man.
Less than a year because it's either
he hasn't been moody or angry all podcast. I make one little thing and it's all of a sudden no. It was like he flexes real quick.
I have to flex, man. Hey, we put a lot of work into that group.
It's obvious. Yeah. You grabbed my attention. Here's the thing. By being a successful business owner like myself, I do speaking engagements, travel all over the world, do consulting for a manufacturer, have Garrett as my personal assistant. Sorry, no, he's not. He's my badass sales guy. He's my secret weapon. I have to keep him down, like you. When you were doing it, I had to keep him down.
Yeah.
No praise. He gets one compliment a week.
That's it. That's it.
Sorry, one treat. He's like the dog biscuit. Here you go. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, he's remarkable. The thing is, I don't get a chance personally to spend enough time locally to build relationships with people because I'm traveling so many places. I now have a home in Arizona, Texas, and Charlotte. I'm building a network in Texas. I don't have really maybe one friend in Arizona. I have a few in Texas, and I have friends here, but it's long life friends. It's people that I've known for years and years and years. But I'm like you. I love to help people, and I want to learn. I want to grow as a person. I want to diversify, and I want to be an investor. and I want to invest in new businesses and new opportunities. And I honestly, I keep making this joke. I joined this group to make friends. Because at the end of the day, when you make friends, even if you make one friend, then it was worth joining.
Yeah.
And, today I'm going to say, I made a friend. I consider you a friend now. You welcomed me over there, and I think the world of you. I think the world of anyone that has a story like yours. I gravitate towards anyone who worked their freaking ass off to what I have today, what we've built as a company, not I, but what I've done personally and what my company has done and all the people who believed in me. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for keeping my eye on the ball and working nonstop. I'm never off work, like ever. Like I take a day off, I go to the beach. I'm sitting on the beach with a umbrella.
Working. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. And I got my umbrella, I got my music playing, and I'm on the phone. Yeah. And I may get an hour on the beach where it's like, okay, and I have to go get in the water to go pee.
Hopefully not the pool.
No. This is the ocean. It's already polluted. We're good. I'm just adding, some more acid. But no, it's an amazing story. So I really do gravitate now towards other business owners because they have either walked or gone through similar, what is it called? Troubles and difficulties, sleepless nights.
Yeah.
And issues with their family, issue with their kids, issue with their business, issue with their employees. So when we sit down and we have a bourbon or we have, coffee, we have very similar stories. And I'm now 36 years as a business owner. I'm the big brother now I have some little brothers. It's like you ever see the Big Brothers Little Brothers sponsorship, where he goes, I'm going to donate my time to a little brother.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I'm donating my time to like all these little brothers. And I want to join me and be their motivation, be their coach. And what they don't understand, and I've been telling everyone that I coach, you're doing more for me than I'm doing for you because you're keeping me motivated.
Yeah.
And one of my slogans for 2025 is I'm no longer in search of happiness. I'm no longer in search of happiness. Okay. I'm now in search every night and every morning for motivation. So I need something to go to bed at night to motivate me to get up in the morning. And when I get up in the morning, I need to be motivated to set a goal. And the goal is to be motivated to hit this goal. And when I hit that goal, what happens when you hit a goal? You celebrate.
Yeah.
Equals happiness. So in life, I've been searching for happiness so long because I'm like, I'm depressed. I'm down. I had back surgery. I'm hurting my leg. I'm in pain. I had both my hips replaced. I'm basically the bionic man. My body's broken. And I'm sitting there and I'll be sitting on the couch. And
are you one of those guys that when you go through an airport,
I have to go through the whole thing. I have 2 metal hips that are like rods in my legs. And I get depressed. And I look back and I'm not the same man I used to be 10 years ago. And I get very depressed. And internally I get depressed. I don't show it, but then I go, man, I just want to be freaking happy. I'm like, Mike, you're always on. You're always the man. I'm like, bro, come about 10 o'clock at night, sit down on the couch, and I've got the blanket on me, and I'm like, what's wrong?
Woe is me.
Yeah. But the thing is, it creeps in your head. Like the one little thing where I'm going and I went to the shower and I'm walking to the kitchen, and then my back's hurting. Then all of a sudden my leg's hurting. Then all of a sudden my head's hurting. Then all of a sudden I sit down and I'm boom, 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 boom. I'm hit with all the pain. So during the day, I can reflect pain. But when I get home and actually relax is when I feel the pain.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what happens is when I feel the pain, it creeps into my brain and then tells my brain, you're fucked up. And then I go, yep, I am. So I have to find motivation is what I'm looking for. Because I'm never going to be happy with my body ever again. I have to find something to get my ass up, get to the gym, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really, to me, what motivates me now is how can I help other people? What's the goal tomorrow? The goal is, hey, I get to meet Lue Yang and have a live podcast on because my buddy was asking me the other day, he goes, man, you seem different, Mike. And I go, I love doing this podcast. It's like I'm reading a book right now. I got Lue Yang's book. I got the paper copy. It's about 25 pages. I guess in another few years it'll be 50 pages. But right now I'm reading the 25-page paper copy of Lue Yang. And it's badass, bro. Like, I mean, listen to this dude. No college education, high school dropout, lived in a closet. Now he's got a successful business. Now he's doing business coaching for small business.
Successful businesses.
It's crazy.
Well, the thing is, I don't look at myself as a successful guy.
You are.
because I'm still like, this is the end of the year,
Right.
and I was talking to one of my good friends, Laura, and she was like, what's your goals for 2025? And we kind of thought about it, and I thought about my model for next year, and I still want to do more than what I've done this year.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, I think I accomplished a lot this year, but I still want to do more.
That's the
Right.
that's the key.
Happy, never satisfied.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a nice, jacket on. You look cool. You got some threads now. I don't know if it's designer or not. Maybe.
No, it's not. No, it's not design. My wife dresses me, so I don't worry about how it looks.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think when you go out in public, like to the business meetings and network groups, do you think a sport blazer is necessary?
Nope.
No. Do you
Nope.
think casual is okay?
I think whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
That's my belief. Sometimes I think you kind of represent who you are, right? To me, I like it.
Sure. What do you like about it?
I just like the way it looks on me.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't think that it would do more or less.
Okay.
Right.
Garrett, what's your thoughts on that?
It's about perception. If you want to be perceived as professional, you dress professionally. If you want to be perceived as approachable, you dress more casually. Somebody's going to easily come up to somebody in gym clothes, or if you're obviously clean and not dripping sweat all over the place, but it's easier to come up to somebody if they're dressed casually, because you feel as though their energy at that time is casual. If I see somebody, I used to dress up in a suit all the time, so I would have to be perceived as professional. So it just depends. A lot of the world's billionaires don't dress in sport coats and suits all day long. They are in hoodies. They are in slacks. They are
Something
just
comfortable.
chinos. They're in a sweater. They're in something that's casual. Mark Cuban actually had this question presented.
I know. I saw it. Tell me about it.
So he said, I don't want to approach the guy that's in the suit. I want to approach the guy that's dressed casually in a room full of suits, because he's the one that is controlling all the suits. That is where you actually can find the most information and the most power, is by addressing the person that is dressed differently.
Now, I saw that same thing. And when Mark Cuban basically said, when I became a billionaire, I decided never to wear another suit ever again, because I don't need to.
Right. He doesn't have to impress
The
anybody.
importance is you are important when you walk in the room and everybody knows who I am. I don't know who they are. They know who I am. And I was doing some coaching the other night to a very, very successful person. And I was telling him the other day, I was like, you don't have anything to prove. When you walk in the room, it's my job to tell everyone who you are and what you've done. It's never your job. I said, you have already made it. He just doesn't think he's made it to the level of what I think he's made it. And so when I walk in the room and I'll say, Garrett, that's so-and-so, and that's so-and-so, and he's done this. And then Garrett goes in and says, hey, that's so-and-so and so-and-so. And when you sit down, you don't have to say a word. Everyone in the room will buzz, kind of knowing, hey, that guy's, he's the man.
Yeah.
If you've got to go in and beat your chest and tell everybody who you are, then you haven't really made it.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it. So if you're on social media going, look at me, you ain't really made it.
Well, you're trying to get that external validation that you're not getting from yourself.
Right.
So by saying, look at me, you might have achieved something. You might have actually made it to the degree that you believe you have, but to be able to have to show everybody else to get that, oh, dude, congratulations, that's external validation. True business owners and true entrepreneurs, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, they get that validation internally. Not when you're happy. You get it when you feel like you have achieved something. You might not be happy. You might not be satisfied with where you are. But when you've achieved something and you've hit a goal, you've found that motivation, you've found that thing that sparks your drive and your passion, sleeping in a closet or having a back hurt and saying, I need to get up tomorrow. I cannot sit here. Those things and having that internal drive and motivation is what truly sets apart a true entrepreneur.
And I've listened to many podcasts, and one of the biggest things that I've ever seen, I'd say 80 to 90% of most entrepreneurial successful people start their day early, number one. Number two, have a routine of some type of routine, like yoga, gym, that they're regimented very first thing in the morning, and they're up early, they're regimented, and they have a process of their day.
Yeah.
And the ones that are all like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do today, you know, I might do this, I might do that. Have an agenda. Before you go to bed at night, have an agenda of what you're going to get accomplished the next day. Even if I don't coach anyone else the rest of the world, wake up earlier, 1 hour earlier. I don't care what time you wake up, just set your alarm for 1 hour earlier and have 1 hour alone time to yourself just to think, okay, what do I want to get done today? What is the most important thing to get done today? Like if the world was ending and you had 24 hours, what do you need to get accomplished today?
Yeah.
And I always kind of scatterbrained would look at the whole field and I would think a year down the road. Well, I think a week down the road now. I don't ever plan past a week.
Yeah.
Like 1 week. That's
Yeah.
it. Now, I do have to plan ski trips and vacations and all that kind of stuff a little bit further because planes and, you know, other people are coming. But I'm only going to accomplish what I can get accomplished this week. And what happens is that if I don't get, you know, if I plan out 2 to 3 months and then I see that I'm not getting everything done, it discourages me to a point where now I'm like, screw it, man. And then I give up on 5 of the things I want to do. But if I just first down, if I can get another first down, like today, where's my first down? Where's my little win today? Where do I get the next first down? And so in sports, get the first down. You know, a lot of times where it's 3 and 2 and you throw a little screen pass, even though the guy was open 40 yards down and throwing the bomb, there's not a guarantee he's going to catch the ball.
Right.
So you know you're going to get the 3 yards that you need for the first down. Take the 3 yards.
Yeah.
So I used to see football coaches. I'm like, he's wide open, man. It's 25. They took the first down. Then you see the quarterback run to get the first down. I'm like, what are you doing? And it's like, take the first down.
Yeah.
So in life, in business, and in coaching, take the first down.
Yeah, that's what. See, I'm kind of like that. My family always like, they know not to ask me like 2 weeks, like, what are you gonna do 2 weeks now? Because I don't look that far.
Right.
Like, mine is I'm focused on the week and what I have to do that day, and so now they know it's like, oh, don't ask Lou. He don't know. He don't think that far. So that's the that's. So if they're gonna plan something 2 weeks from now, they'll just plan.
So when's
in.
the next event for the Facebook group?
We normally do it on the 4th Thursday of every month. That's the free networking event, and then the private dinners, which is the one that you came to. We're trying to get one for tomorrow, which is what's kind of a short notice. So we're scrambling to try to get people in. Same place, same time.
Why tomorrow? It's the holidays. Wait till after Christmas.
I was trying to do it like every other week. Just
What,
trying
for the dinners?
yeah, for the
Once a
dinners.
month.
And so the one that you came to was the second time we've ever done it. So
Oh, okay,
yeah,
got it.
I'm just
You're testing some waters.
I'm testing it out to see if it's
For-
bi-weekly is good or
for me,
monthly.
For me personally, I don't want to see the same group of people over and over. I would rather see a new group of people, diversified. Okay, I know you're trying to do a higher end group,
Yeah, mastermind group. Yeah.
but I think what you need to do is pick one, probably 2 to 3 of your higher people, and have a dinner with your lower people, and have them share the stage with you to help mentor and coach them through the meeting. It's just me. I'm thinking outside the box. Like, what would I want if I'm most small businesses are not going to ever get a chance to have a time with me. I'm not going to meet them. I'm not going to go to your 100 people event and mingle for 2 hours.
Yep.
I don't have the time. But I do have time to sit down at a dinner that's more intimate, that I can feel like I'm making a better use of my time.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to go drink and party, even though I wouldn't mind if my schedule was open to go to 100, or 50 or 80 people. That would be great. But remembering names, remembering people, getting a contact, staying in touch. I would rather have a group of 10 or 20 that are there to learn, are there to get something out of it. And then when I get a chance to listen to another successful business guy talk for a few minutes, I might pick up a nugget from them and be like, oh, that's pretty interesting. He's doing some marketing things I could probably add to my arsenal. So even though I do a very large amount of money in sales, I can learn from a guy that's doing $300,000 because he's doing some grassroots stuff, and he's doing stuff that doesn't have the same marketing budget that I do. So he might be doing some creative that'd be like, hey, that's pretty cool right there. I need to be picking up on that and adding that to my business.
All right, Mike. So I got you locked in. Man.
Got me
Got
locked
you
in.
locked in. My next dinner invite, you be there, and then we'll have some newer
Yeah,
business
so
owners there.
it's almost like having a draw. It's like if you go, okay, I've got 2 or 3 people, because I look at the guest speaking thing, and I'm looking at on stage, and there'll be like 4 or 5, like Grant Cardone and all the big boys, right? And they'll have this guy and this guy and this guy. Well, they all bring something different and unique.
Yeah.
You know, my personality is different than yours. Yours is different than mine. I'm going to add a different dynamic to the event. You're going to add a different dynamic to the event, and you need both, because I'm maybe the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Well, I know offense. You know defense. Well, I'm going to need the defensive coordinator there too, because we're going to have to talk about defense, right? And then there's a head coach, you know, and the head coach keeps the offensive guy in check, and he keeps the defensive guy in check, you know. And so I think in business, you need a diverse amount of different people. And I came from a martial arts background. In MMA, the gym is one-dimensional. A lot of guys doing their heavy jiu-jitsu, or they're heavy boxing, or they're heavy Muay Thai, or they're heavy wrestling, right? Or they're heavy karate. And you'll see a gym that's kind of a little bit heavy on one or the other, right?
Yeah.
So if you're heavy into jiu-jitsu, go to a jiu-jitsu studio and be around really, really good jiu-jitsu guys. But then leave one day a week and go over to your Muay Thai guy and go work with the Muay Thai guys. That's all they do is Muay Thai. Then you go over to your wrestlers and go learn some wrestling, so you know how to hold people down and hold them against the cage. But your UFC fighters that stay in one gym and they only learn from the same people over and over and over, they peak and then they fall. But the guys are always constantly learning from different people. They're the ones you see growing, and they change camps. You're like, hey, they just changed camps. Hey, it's not because he didn't learn anything from the camp. He didn't like the guys. It wasn't like they had a falling out. It's like I went from Colorado's camp to the Miami camp, and I want to go learn with these guys down here, what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so in business, I think that's the best thing you can do is diverse. Hello.
Yeah.
I guess that's the bell. But this podcast, I think we've been at about an hour. I'm not sure
All right.
exactly, but
Yeah.
it's, let's wrap it up. We've got a busy day. I just wanted to say thanks for coming on. You're going to do the meetup groups with the Charlotte Business Owners Facebook group. We're going to be doing, or you are going to be doing the lunch and learns, and you're going to be doing the business dinners.
Yep.
And what else? You've got 3 different things you're
Masterminds group.
Masterminds group. That's awesome, man. Congratulations on all your success. I think this is amazing. What you're doing for the community is awesome. I love the involvement with the group. And anyone that's in the group, we need participation. People need to post more.
Yep.
Right?
That's the goal. I want people to post more on advices like, here's my industry.
Okay.
And as you were talking about different perspective, right?
Sure.
Different industries do different marketing tactics, and other industries could benefit from those tactics in different industries, and post advice in there. We want to grow a community that's supporting one another, because as I share my story, there's a lot of challenges. I want that one person to put their arms around me. Well, this group is like, let's have multiple people put their arms around you and say, okay, you're starting out. Here's all these things that I could help you out with. Here's their advice that I could share with you to hopefully help you out.
Have you ever thought, and I'm just remembering this because I'm in teams with my business, or with XPEL, I do teams, and they do like meetings where they have like a whole room of everybody's on Zooms.
Yeah.
Maybe we do every quarter, every month or something like that, where people can't come to the meeting, but we have like a mastermind group of like 3 or 4 people, and then everyone can log in and then ask questions for 30 minutes or an hour in the evening or one night, instead of going out to dinner, traffic, meals and things, that we can get a big participation of maybe 50, 60 people logging in, and everybody kind of going, hey, we're live. We're going to ask questions. We're on the air with 2 or 3 of our mastermind guys, because there was a couple there that were very interesting. Not exactly on names. I have to go back and look at my Rolodex, but there was a few that I was like, dude, this is crazy. The ones that got the roofing company, the farm.
Yeah, the zoo.
I mean, they had so many businesses. The wife was a general contractor.
Yeah.
She was an electrician. I'm like, what? I was blowing my mind. I'm like, literally, I want to interview her just to hear what she had to go through. Like, it's incredible story. A lot of things I could learn. And you want to talk about work ethic. Holy cow.
Yeah, she works hard.
Yeah, I know. So that's a great story. But these are the type of people that can help coach the people that are kind of stuck in the mud a little bit and just need a little,
Yeah, that's why, like, for 2025, one of our goals is to start a membership group where we want to give them access to it. We want to help them plan. We want to have those meetings.
Right.
Obviously, we're going to charge them because, as I said, if you do it for free, they're not going to value it.
Yeah.
It's just the perception.
Well,
Garrett was talking about perception, right? If
Right.
you give something,
If you give
free.
something away, nobody's going to value it.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to end with this, but I have a friend that used to go on the mountain bike groups, and I used to be really big into mountain bikes, and they would do a meetup group for mountain bikes, and they would
Yeah.
all go. But it was a guy that also taught, technique and riding style
Yeah.
and your feet, and just basically, hey, I'm going to do a seminar for an hour, and it was free. Well, he would have 30, 40 people sign up, and 4 would show.
yeah,
He started charging $1, and the people would show.
Yep.
It's crazy.
yeah, I know.
Right? That's super crazy.
It's crazy because the first event I did, we had 120 something sign up, and I thought 100 people was going to show up.
And 50 show.
I bought all the food for 100 people.
Oh my God.
Man, I spent about $800 on food
Oh,
that first
no.
event, and I had less than half of it. And I was trying to give food away. I was like, wait a minute, I had all these people RSVP and they didn't show up,
Right.
and I was ignorant. I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, anything I can do to help, I will more than happy to block off a little bit of time here and there. If you have someone that you've coached or someone that you get a call on with yourself, if you want to get on a call with me, and more or less than anything, I'm a motivational guy. Like if you hang out with me, you're either laughing, joking, motivated. When people leave me, they text me back the next day. They, dude, I'm all amped up. I'm like, I'm used to going to the gym, working out. I'm used to being around MMA guys, a lot of testosterone, and it's the data boys. We all need that. At the end of the day, we need that. We need that data boy. Let's go. Let's get up. Hoorah.
Well, I mean, you're the guy. When people walk in, they eventually know who Mike is, and so after that event, they say, "Wow, Mike is an interesting guy."
I am super interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the very few people that I have the fans and the not fans. There's no gray. It's
Yeah.
either they gravitate towards, and I like that. That's who I want to be. I
Yeah.
want to be the guy. Either you want to be on my team, or you want to be against me. And I'm like, hey, great.
Yeah.
That means I don't have to waste time on all these other people. Like it means if I get one person that actually is like, bro, you're the man. I'm like, awesome. You're in my group, brother. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I'll be your fan. You be my fan, and let's work it together.
Well, I'm glad I'm in your group. Yeah.
You're a good guy, man. The thing is, I see your heart and I see your passion, and I think you see that with me as well. So
Yeah.
that's the key. And I'm still working on Garrett's. He'll get there.
One of these days, when he gets a little bit more gray, a little older. Yeah.
I mean,
Are you kidding? Since starting working with Mike, I have more gray hairs now than I've ever had that I could ever imagine.
That means that some of the wisdom is rubbing off on you.
Wisdom's paying off. That's just true. But,
Wisdom or stress?
but you know what the thing is? When I met Garrett, he was lost. But when I talk to him now, he has a vision. Okay, he's dedicated. He smiles, laughs, and he's happy, somewhat. But, is that not true?
I don't know that I was lost.
You were a little lost because your mom kept telling me, hire my son. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He doesn't know what he wants to do.
I'm going to flip this around, Lou, and I'm going to say Mike didn't see how great I actually was because he thought I was a spoiled brat.
Oh.
He's still a spoiled brat, but he's a good-looking spoiled brat that works hard. But he works his ass off. He really does. He's dedicated to the craft of being nice to people. I mean, think about that. He's dedicated to the craft of being nice to people.
Yeah.
That's
Good thing you don't count as people.
I'm not a person. I'm a return on investment. Now, I had a seminar one time where I'm going to end with this one, but I had a seminar one time where I told people, and I'm using this as an analogy. It's not something you want to use all the time. But I said your employees that work for you are 9 to 5. They're a rate of return. Okay? They're a stock.
Yep. And
I had multiple employees, and I asked this question. I said, tell me what stock you are. So tell me, if I was going to say, Garrett, on all the stocks in the world, tell me which stock you are, what evaluation you are per share. Like, tell me what your share price is and where your share is going. Is it on the way up or is it on the way down? Think about that.
Yeah.
Like in the position, like you are at work, are you Apple? Are you Tesla? Are you Microsoft? Are you, what stock are you? And where do you value your stock? And I had this one kid, he goes, I'm probably Sony. And I said, Sony? He goes, yeah, I like electronics, and that's kind of me and my personality. And I said, well, what do you value your stock price at? And he said, probably $1. I said, $1? I said, why? And he goes, I have the potential for growth, but I'm not there yet. And I said, okay, that's fair. But he didn't go, I'm worth $100 a share or $50 a share. He goes, I'm worth $1. It wasn't a penny stock. But I mean, think about that. If you ask an employee what stock you are,
Yeah.
and how did you come up with that stock? Okay, take some time to think about it. What's your stock price?
Yeah.
And where do you think your stock is going in the future? Is it going up this year? Is it going up next year, 3 years? Like, where do you see your stock, going? Is it going down? Is it investable? Should I put money into your stock?
Yeah.
Should I sell that stock? Nope.
At least he said potential.
Potential,
'Cause
right?
if he were to stop at 1, then you'll be like, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you kind of know a little bit.
Yeah.
But in return, as an owner, but I'm not an owner, I'm an investor. So one of the things I do in business coaching is I tell business owners, you're not an owner. You don't own a business. You own an investment. So if your investment is your small business, quit talking and telling everybody I'm a business owner. So it changes your mentality, because when you think business owner, you think one business, that you work for the business, that you are the business, that you're answering the phone, that you're a mom and pop business.
Yeah.
Okay. So mentally, when you go to another level, you're like, I'm an investor in small businesses. So now I'm no longer the business owner. I'm now the investor in a business. And so when you look at it from an investor's standpoint, you look at it from a dollars and cents. What's my rate of return? Okay. Garrett, what's his rate of return? I pay him X. Here's his goals. Here's his this. What's the rate of return? My employees, they're not really employees. They're not really people. They're stocks.
Yeah.
They're stocks. What stock value do they have, and what rate of return do they have for my investment portfolio?
Yeah.
So then you take the personal level of the person out of the personal level, and you go from 9 to 5, they're a rate of return. Like, what's my rate of return per day, per person, per stock? But it's not a person. At 5:01, we can crack open a drink. I can give you a hug. Hey, bro, how's the wife? How's the kids? Your stock market closes at what, 4:30?
Yeah.
4:20 or 4:30?
Something like that.
So when the stock market bell rings, there's no more trading.
Yeah.
The stock price is stopped for the day.
Yeah.
Right? That means your stock price is stopped. It means we can talk freely. We can talk about business. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But during the stock market trading cycle, we're talking about your stock value for the day. What have you produced? What have you done? What are we going? What's your goal? Let's go. I want your stock. Let's go. Who's buying? Who's buying your stock? Who's buying your stock? Let's go.
Yeah.
So mentally, it puts me in a different space. It takes the emotion of my employees, and even though I love all of them and their family, and they know that, but me personally, I have so many now. So it's like, how many stocks and what's my rate of return? And that's kind of how I look at it.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
My man. All right. Lue Yang. What's your wife's name?
Yin Yang.
Tell me, that's some funny shit right there, right?
Yeah.
He said that in the meeting. I was like, what the hell?
Yep.
I love that story, man. That is freaking awesome. Garrett, you want to end with anything?
This has been awesome. The only question I would ask Lou eventually, and he could probably answer this on the group, is for somebody who's starting a new business, what are 3 essential things that you think somebody should start a new business with?
So you want me to answer that now, or in the group?
Either here or on the group? If you,
I mean, I think you start a business with a good advisor.
Yeah, that will be. That was one I was gonna say, because right now I'm big into building my network. Talking about that mentor, I'd say the first thing I would do as a business owner is find your group of who's. That's the people that you could, like Mike, right? We talk about Mike, where Mike is always on the phone. I'll message Mike and he's replying back. Those are the type of guys that I would want in my circle of, hey, I'm starting a business. Here's the idea. And Mike's replying back. Yes, that's good. No. Like guys that not yes men guys, but guys is like, yeah, that's not a good idea. But
somebody who could tell you the truth.
The truth. Build that circle. It don't have to be one person, but one to a few with different perspective. That's what I would do. That's the one thing I would do first.
The first thing is, I would agree. Advisor, a group of who's. Whatever you think money you need, double it.
Interesting.
Because what happens is people go take small business loans out. okay, and they've done a pro forma, or they've done some type of balance of saying, here's what our projected growth is, this is what we think our sales will be, this is what we think our financials will look like after year one, right? And this is what the startup cost is.
Right.
What they don't take into consideration is their lifestyle. What's their lifestyle look like? Your business is not going to be able to afford your consistent lifestyle. So you either need to downsize your lifestyle or put into the funding the amount of money that you need to take out to fund the business and your personal lifestyle at the same time. That's what I see as a big mistake in a lot of small businesses. They go, man, I only need 50 grand to start my business. Okay, well, when are you going to be profitable enough to take the 4 grand a month you need to live to pay your bills? Oh, I didn't think of that. They only look at what they need to do the need. And they don't understand that the real need is, when do you project to be profitable enough to pay yourself a salary? Because most small businesses within 6 months to a year don't really make enough money to pay you the kind of salary that you came from.
Yeah.
That's the biggest mistake I see people making, is lack of funding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the who's, funding. What's the third one?
What's the third one?
I would say start to build your vision, your plan. Not a perfect one, but at least know what you're looking to achieve. So I would say find that island you want to go to, and then find the people, have the people around you that will help you navigate to that. And that plan is going to change as the wind and the sea changes. So have somewhat a plan, a vision of where to go. Got to have that in place, because if I know you and I, we look short term, but we still have a long term vision.
Absolutely.
And you got to have that long term goal, that vision of where you want to go, and then have somewhat of a plan to guide you, but tweak it as you go. Yeah.
And I'm going to add to that. Have a parachute. So if you're going to jump out of a plane, make sure you have a parachute. And what that means is...
I thought you said a pair of shoes. Yeah.
Parachute. Sorry. So, I had a guy ask me how I went from my first location to my second location. And I said, I had a parachute. And he goes, a parachute? I said, yeah, if I jumped out of the plane, I could pull the parachute at any time I want. And I go, all of my bills can be paid out of my first location. So I left, and I put a team in place to run that store. But I took a salary low enough to support my lifestyle. So I could go grow the second store and the second business merely by taking no money from that business. So I had to pay the rent, pay all our utilities and overhead, and do enough work to cash flow the business in 3 months. And within 6 months, I found an employee to come and take and help me run the business, because then there was 6 months of revenue coming in, 3 to 6 months of revenue coming in, so I could afford to pay the person to work there, even not making any money. Just enough to afford the
Keep it open.
employee. Okay?
Yeah.
And then I didn't make a single dollar off the business at all year one. I got it open. I got an employee. I got someone working it. And I cash flowed the business to where I was affording a front counter person, affording a guy in the back, marketing, and overhead. Year two, I was able to step out of the business, take a small salary from the place of the profit, and then went and did it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was still living off number one. I never was really living off number two. I let number two profit funding number three. So whatever profit I got from number two funded the opportunity to do number three. So I was still living off number one. Whatever money I kept making on number two funded number three. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it just took time. And it took years. And when people go, man, I can't take the risk. I said, no, you can take the risk. You have to get a smaller house. You have to drive a paid-for car. And you have to humble yourself. I drove a company freaking van for years. I didn't have a car. Like, I drove a van. Everywhere I went home, I drove my company van. That was my marketing. Everywhere I went, every gas station, everywhere, I passed out cards. My rule was 5 business cards were in the back of my pocket every day. And before I could go to bed at night, my pocket, when I emptied
Had to
my,
be empty.
Be empty. That means I need to talk to 5 people every single day. I don't care if it's a cashier at McDonald's. I don't care if it's a person at the gas pump and they have a car that's not tinted. I walked over and handed them a card. Hey, I'm Mike Burke. I'll do window tinting. Your car's not tinted. Come see me. 5 cards, 5 people every day times 7 days a week, 35 people times a year. Do the math.
Well, Mark, I think that comes naturally to you, though.
But it's
the 5 cards a day. Yeah.
5 cards a day.
Yeah.
So put 5 business cards in your back pocket and hand them to 5 random people every single day for the rest of your life, and you will be successful. Period.
Yep.
Plant seeds.
Take that advice to the bank.
My man. Lue Yang. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you tuning in to Real Talk with Mike Burke. Garrett, as always, thanks for all your beautiful wisdom. And we'll tune in for next time, man.
Sounds good. Thanks
See
for
ya.
having
See
me.
Thank you,
brother.
gents.
Y'all be good. All right, bye.
Thanks.